Good morning everybody and welcome to this EAL webinar on rail apprenticeships. My name is Allan Macdonald, Project Manager for Rail at EAL, and I'd just like to take 20 minutes of your time, 25 minutes of your time, just to run you through a bit about the rail apprenticeships and the offering from EAL. The first slide just show you what the presentation contains, why you should choose EAL and what we have to offer. I won't go through the slides. I'll talk over the slides rather than read the slides to you, so I will give you time to read. And please, as the presentation goes through, please just ask questions as you feel you want to ask them, and I will try to answer them as we go through. So I'll stop every so often when a question comes in to answer it, as opposed to saving them up for the end. I hope that's okay with everybody. And sorry, if you're all aware, the chat function is down the bottom right hand side of your screen, so you just type a short question in there. I will verbally answer each question as they come in without identifying the questioner. Thank you. So why choose EAL for rail? As I'm sure you're aware, EAL has a long history of awarding in the engineering sector and associated sectors, and in fact we go back to the 70s. And I'm also sure many of you are aware we have some 78% market share of engineering competence qualifications, which we feel gives us a very good position to move into the rail sector and to apply the expertise we have gained over the years and apply it to rail to improve the rail offering in apprenticeships, NVQs, and across all qualifications in rail. Again, if you're a centre, an EAL centre, rail centre already, you will be aware, of course, we do have EVs who have got personal track safety qualifications, and you possibly won't know this, but we are growing that team, and we're going for Scotland, North, middle of the country, Midlands and South, and to have a team of EVs, all with personal track safety, all with some rail experience in their CVs, to expand our offering and to improve the offer to your centres in terms of response and support. Again, if you're an EAL centre, you'll be aware of this. If you're not, EAL pricing is transparent, which is quite attractive in terms of, I was formerly a centre myself years ago, and it was always great with EAL in that when you quoted a price for a qualification, that's what you paid. There wasn't a certification fee hidden, there wasn't an exams fee hidden, so our pricing structure is transparent. And if EAL's price list at a qualification is £80, that's all you'll pay for that qualification, and that includes your assessments, your exams, your certification. So that's really attractive. And also, what I wanted to show you today is I am talking about apprenticeships today in rail, but the focus is level 2. I'll mention level 3 towards the end, but our focus is definitely on level 2 and how we've developed materials to support level 2 track apprenticeship and the new level 2 OLEC apprenticeship, which has recently been the new framework from SEMTA. And we've developed materials and assignments and assessments and a really good syllabus to support that, which maps against the OLEC standards. Oh, sorry, I went back the wrong way, beg your pardon. I think we all know what an apprenticeship framework looks like, but I'll just run through the 3 frameworks we're in, just to sort of reinforce. And I'm sure many of you are aware the apprenticeship frameworks from SASE in England, at least, are locking down on the 30th of August. So basically, from an awarding body point of view, we won't be able to, well, probably now really, because there's not time to do it now to accredit new qualifications. So there will be no new qualifications added to frameworks from 30th of August this year due to Trailblazers, which is the development of the Trailblazers. So what I'm showing you now from EAL point of view is pretty much set now for the duration and the lifetime of the frameworks. And you can see there the infrastructure framework, rail engineering infrastructure. We have a level 2 track maintenance apprenticeship in there, but also level 3s in track maintenance, level 3 signalling, telecoms, electrification. But importantly, we've literally just had them accredited, not launched yet. If you look on our website, it says coming soon. These will be available from the 1st of September. Is the install and test you can see on the screen. So signalling installer, telecoms installer, and electrification installer. These have been accredited at customer request, and these fit in line with cost period 5 from Network Rail in terms of the building of the new railways. Because I'm sure you're aware on that the frameworks we currently have are very maintenance focused, where the past 15, 20 years, a lot of activity on the railway has been involved in maintaining the infrastructure. But we're now moving into a period of building new infrastructure, and these NVQs are unique to EAL. We will be the only awarding body in the frameworks having these installation NVQs. So we're working to support you in ready for apprenticeships and training to build in the cost period 5. The traction and rolling stock framework, again, I'm sure that's of interest to many of you. There is a piece, we have a qualification, we have an NVQ in there, but there is a piece of work going on with SEMTA at the moment where the traction and rolling stock NOS are up for review, and I'm sure some of you are engaged with that, and if you're not engaged and you wish to be, I recommend you speak to Paul Turnbull at SEMTA. Email customer services and ask for Paul Turnbull, or ring in and ask to speak to Paul Turnbull. He's taking the lead on that, and there's a serious review going on of the whole of how traction and rolling stock NVQs will look. And currently it's looking like adding a new pathway into the existing SEMTA maintenance NVQs, which I believe most people use anyway from what we've seen. They're good NVQs, good robust broad NVQs. So the difference that will mean, of course, is your apprentices using a standard maintenance NVQ will now be able to get a traction and rolling stock on their certificate as the pathway title. So exciting stuff, and if you are interested in engaging that, please do contact Paul Turnbull at SEMTA. It's a piece of work currently being undertaken. Now the final framework is the OLEC, I call it the OLEC framework, the overhead line construction, which is underpinned by two new NVQs, one at level 2, one at level 3, which is a piece of work SEMTA did, and creating new occupational standards, new NOS, against the Network Rail OLEC standard, piece of work we were involved in actually. And again, Paul Turnbull took the lead from SEMTA and developed new occupational standards and new NVQs. Now these new NVQs do map OLEC. The content is very, very similar, and Network Rail were part of the team that developed them, so they had an input to them. Level 2 obviously is assistant, and level 3 is unassisted OLEC engineer. EAL, again, unique to EAL. We're the only awarding body with the NVQs in that framework. Now, I'd like to talk to you now about why choose EAL if you're unfamiliar with our materials, but even if you are familiar with our materials, show you the new rail materials, and just maybe it's only a few slides, just run through what our materials look like and why we think they're good. Now, this slide we're looking at the NVQ assessment routes. Again, I'm sure many of you are familiar with them, and these are our units, our NVQ units. We've always called them assessment routes. Very successful product for EAL over the years. And if I say we've got 78% market share of engineering competence qualifications, I think this is a considerable part of why that is, the quality of the materials we produce, and people like them, they've used them for a long, long time. Now basically that's the front page of an assessment route you can see there, and it gives you a summary, and it happens to be a track. I think it's a level 2 track maintenance one I'm showing you, and it on the front it gives you some advice on the summary. They're all different, but it gives you some advice on how it's to be assessed, what's in the unit, assessment route. And then inside it you can see where you've got a reference line, and that's where you put your evidence. Forgive me, I'm speaking very obvious stuff, I'm just running through the material. Now, what's different with the EAL, and I've got some visual aids here, what's different with the EAL and what we're offering you? We've developed this, I have to hold this up, I'm sorry, it is on a slide in a minute, this A6 logbook, it is on a slide in a moment. Now this is for use for rail, and it's generic. You can use it against any NVQ at any level in rail. And basically, it's when people are working on track or in environments where it's not helpful to gather evidence or record evidence, that this is we say pocket-sized, toolbox-sized logbook. It's robust, it's encapsulated, it's good quality paper. It'll stand some use in the field to record the evidence. And then, of course, in each page, they are page numbered, and then that page number can go in the reference line. So yeah, your learners will still develop a portfolio, but it might be thinner than it otherwise might have been, because a lot of the evidence we hope will be in the A6 logbook. And people have used them so far, we're getting good feedback and reports on them, people like them. And we also know, of course, that it's standard rail practice to have A6 or A5 logbooks in the rail environment. It's standard industry practice and something we've replicated. Now, something we also produce, which I haven't got to show you as such, but it's just a page from it, is something we've produced called exemplar guidance. Now these are done at the moment for level 2 for track, and we are currently working on other ones. But the logic behind it, I'm pretty sure you probably can't see that very well. But you've got on the left-hand column of the learning outcome, and then the next column the assessment criteria. But the exemplar guidance is basically where we've worked with a team of consultants and track experts in this instance, and people with experience of assessment of track, and offered you up just some guidance on what the evidence may be. So for instance, there I can see there it's got a list of the bullet pointed list on the third one. Items the learner will be able to gather in the workplace that meet that assessment criteria. Now, it's advice, it's guidance, it's not mandatory. It's something you may or may not choose to use. You can amend, add to, feedback to us. We'll change it. I consider this a malleable document. And where it comes in useful, of course, and where we think that the people have used it so far and like it, it allows you standardization. So if you've got a number of assessors working over a number of sites and you follow the guidance, or you develop and follow the guidance, then of course when your EV visit comes up for the purposes of IVing, your assessment gathered by your learners is very comparable. Now that's got to be good for standardization. It also of course supports new assessors. It supports inexperienced and new assessors while they're learning, while they're developing. And it's quite unique. I don't think this has been done before in terms of offering this level of guidance for NVQs. Now, stressing, there's a level 2 track one, a level 3 track one, there's a traction and rolling stock one, and we are currently working on others. But again, with everything I'm saying today for an EAL centre, please engage with us. And if you want to support the activity, be involved in the activity, you're more than welcome to contact us, and we'll engage with us in terms of developing these materials. Now this is the A6 logbook, which I held up, which I appreciate you can't see very well when I held it up, and that's a typical page from it. And again, you can see that each page is page numbered. Each page is identical in the logbook. I think there's some 40 odd pages in there, so there's plenty of opportunities to gather evidence. It's taken from, we looked at a sample of industry materials in developing it. There's a lot of examples out there of logbooks for various purposes in Network Rail, of course. And of course a lot of the other businesses in the rail industry. So it's sort of an amalgamation of what we saw and decided working with the industry, and so far it seems to be quite well received. It's small, as an A6 logbook will be, but it's a very useful tool. But again, stress, it's optional. It's a tool we provide, it's not mandatory. Now, when we're talking about apprenticeships, and that was a little bit about the NVQ units, how we support the NVQs with the logbook and the exemplar materials. The other part of the apprenticeship, of course, is the technical certificate. Now, there's a page there. It's a typical page. It's a page from level 2 track. Now, I'm sure you're all aware that if you deliver level 2 apprenticeships in rail, that we have it's the underpinning knowledge at level 2, rail engineering underpinning knowledge at level 2 qualification, which we accredited a version from. And again, I'm sure you're all aware that it's quite a generic engineering qualification in terms of assessment criteria and learning outcomes. Well, what we've done with it is taken that genericism at the top, the assessment criteria, and developed a delivery advice below that. So basically a syllabus. Now, because the top's generic, we could develop any number of syllabuses below the generic assessment criteria. So we currently have 2 versions of this qualification, albeit one qualification number, albeit technically speaking the same units. We've mapped 2 different syllabuses to it in terms of delivery advice. So there's a track version and a level 2 OLEC version. Now, if a centre comes along, or people come along and say we like a level 2 signalling version or a level 2 telecoms version, it can be developed. We can map it. We can map your assessment criteria. We can map your assessments. Map how you can support us, work with us to develop this delivery advice, and we can develop other versions of it. But what it does give you, it gives you a lot. I mean, there's pages and pages of it. It does give you a good syllabus to work to in terms of developing your scheme of work. And I'll show you shortly. We also provide the assessments, which of course map to this. So there's a package. You haven't got to do it yourself. What you do have to do with this, and you have to develop your own scheme of work, your mode of delivery, how you're going to deliver this syllabus, do these assessments, but we provide them for you. So you might be doing block release, day release, whatever your delivery model is. But you can see there that, and I appreciate, of course, you can't read that, but it's quite comprehensive. Now, again, it's just the front page it's just the front page of the document. But again, this is exemplar assessments track, and then there's a sister one, OLEC, and basically it's mapped to the assessment criteria. It gives you I think this one, the track one's got 11 assessments in it. Now, it's quite important with this that when we developed this, when we started this project, it's quite important that we provide something which enables people to progress to level 3. This isn't level 2 skinny. This is level 2. moving on to level 3. So this does contain maths and science. It's in line with the assessment criteria, but there's 11 assessments in there, but the maths and science is all applied. So we're looking, you're measuring ballast, you're taking the cubic area of ballast, you're measuring curvature in track, that sort of thing, and it's all been applied to the rail industry and to the apprenticeship they're doing. But of course they're learning the maths and science skills they need to progress to level 3. There is 11 in this one. There's 11 assignments, 11 mark sheets, tutor checklists, assessor checklists. So the paperwork's provided for you, and actually the paperwork is provided for you here. If you're happy with these, you can just use them. However, if you want to amend them, we're happy for you to do that. It is called centre devised assessment, and these are the exemplars we provide. We use the word exemplar assessment, an example of. If you then say, well, actually, it's not quite what we want, I want to change this, you feel free to do so. It has to be signed off by your EV and in conjunction with your EV. And at the moment, communicate it with me and your EV, and we'll work on it. And if you wanted this in Microsoft Word, happy to provide it in Microsoft Word, and that will allow you to make your amends, we'll agree them, sign it off, and then you can deliver it. But obviously, with all this sort of thing, don't deliver anything your EV hasn't seen or signed off if you do change it. But it's worth looking at. It is quite unique actually, and I'm quite proud of these because I think they've done a great piece of work done on these. This one and the OLEC one, and again these are at level 2. I'm stressing the level 3 assessments is a bit different, but I'm looking to take this into level 3. But obviously level 3 is much bigger and a much bigger piece of work. And then we've got, moving towards the end of the presentation, we've got the price list from EAL. Which is just an example of that's well out of date now because obviously we've accredited many more qualifications since then. And as I said at the beginning, the price list from EAL is comprehensive. You can see what the price is exactly what you pay. Now, just so I clarify the point on this, you probably, if you can see that, which I appreciate you probably can't, there's a £20 difference from publications to no publications. So if say NVQ is £80 or £100, let's say pubs £100, no pubs £80. What that means is publications, I had to order myself one in my own name to get one to show you, but when you say publications, this is the level 2 track NVQ ring binder, and this is what you get. So when the learner registers, you send your names off to us, which actually identically matches the ring binder behind me. It almost looks invisible when I hold it up, I think, on there. And they'll come with a front sheet, and that's got the person's name on it, the registration number, and the units you have chosen for them. So in there you can see the assessment routes, as I showed on the screen earlier, in the portfolio. And it's difficult to see, I appreciate it's difficult to see them, but this is actually really good quality. It's very thick, robust, it's designed for an engineering environment. It's designed for a locker we talked about on a workplace. But again, the physical size of it, we feel, makes it unsuitable to take onto track and onto a rail environment. So the publications also includes one of these. So this £20 difference in publication includes, that's the pack that you'll get, and I believe they come separately actually because they come from different places, but they arrive much the same time. And you'll get, if you rent to 20 people, 20 of these, 20 of these. £20 difference in publication price. We've run an exercise with a couple of centres on this to prove the point, and they've agreed it's actually cheaper to buy them based on the quality of what they're getting than to produce their own. By the time you bought your own ring binders, paid somebody to do your photocopy, because they are free. EALs, once you're a centre, you can download the PDFs off the website yourself and print your own. But by the time you've paid somebody to buy, you bought the ring binders, assembled them, put them together, photocopied them, we proved the exercise with a couple of centres and they agreed it's actually cheaper just to buy them. And the quality based on the quality of what they get. So that was a good exercise to do. So I think I'm coming to the end of the... I do apologise, my colleague just pointed out as a question. EAL is based, we have 2 offices. Our head office is in Watford, where I am at the moment. But I work in business development, which is based out of the Leeds office. But we're home-based people, so we travel nationally. So in terms of where EAL is based, we're based anywhere you want us to be. Head office Watford, product development, business development, and centre administration is in Leeds. But we are based anywhere. So there is an office in Sheffield, a centre office in Sheffield also. But we can travel anywhere in the country, and we do. We regularly, from Portsmouth to Edinburgh up into Scotland. We award all over the country. In fact, we award EAL some 800 centres, of which I think over 600 is in the UK, and the rest are overseas. So we do award all over the world, but we do award all over the UK certainly, and some overseas provision. And I think that is the last slide. Now, I didn't mention too much about level 3 apprenticeships. As you can see, there's a big range of level 3 NVQs, and we currently have a technical certificate under development. It's available. It's called Installation and Maintenance of Engineering Assets. There's a story behind the title, but I won't elaborate at the moment. And the problem is, of course, the framework's closing down. There's little opportunity to do new work, but we're currently developing the technical certificates in the framework. It is accredited and it is in the framework. And what we're currently doing is working with a number of people to develop new units in signalling, telecoms, etc. Another question coming there: you can purchase the logbooks separately. They can be bought via customer services, and I believe they're £5. And if you contact EAL customer, people have bought them separately. I've spoken to people who have bought them, and I think the first thing to do with that is to contact customer services, which I don't think the phone number's on the presentation there, but it's 01923 254. I'm sorry, my colleague's telling me the number there. 652 400. 01923 652 400. Apologies for that. I won't give you the general switchboard number. So 652 400 is the customer services direct number. As I say, I really would welcome anybody to engage with us on developing the level 3 technical certificate. We're currently developing some signalling and telecom stuff to support a particular project with ex-military training from Royal Signals, and the level 3 track stuff, sort of thing. But we are looking at traction and rolling stock units. We're looking at all sorts of things in installation and maintenance to build a really robust level 3 apprenticeship offering. Now, after this website, thank you, webinar administrator, for putting the customer services number on properly for me so you can all see it. After this presentation, there's an A4 sheet being developed, which will be available on our website, which summarises this presentation, and on the back of it also gives you a full list of all our qualifications. Are the slides available via email? I see no reason why not. Yes, the webinar is going to be available. Will be available on our website for a period of time anyway after today to watch it again. But if the rail@eal.org email address you see there is my email address. It comes directly to me. So if anybody emails us, if we have a set of the slides, I will forward them on to you straight away. I've just paused, so I think there's another question coming in. How do you? So forgive me, I missed the question. Sorry. Yes, I say thank you, Mike. Yeah, but we will. I will offer, if anybody emails, and I'll send you the slides. How do you find a list of people who provides the EAL apprenticeships? Well, if you were to email me at that email address, give me your regional area, tell me where you are, I'll communicate with you individually and then point you in the direction of people who we're aware of offering EAL centres currently. We don't publish a list as such, but if you inquire, we will certainly share that information with you and point you in the right direction. When we say affiliated to NSAR, I think that's a very good term actually. Yes, we are. We work I describe it as we work closely with NSAR, and we have from the beginning. I mean, NSAR was a very important part of EAL getting into rail at the beginning, our relationship with NSAR. We're not partners with NSAR, we're not business partners, there's no legal relationship between us, but we are affiliated to, and we meet regularly and talk with NSAR, and we take a steer from NSAR, and we do share how the industry is going with NSAR. So yes, we are affiliated. That's a very good way of putting it actually. Well, thank you all very much indeed for your time this morning. I do appreciate it. I hope that's been useful to you. And the reality, my name's Allan Macdonald, if you wanted to ring in and ask for me. But that email address there, it does come uniquely to me actually, just so I can filter in the inbox difference. The rail questions get special treatment and don't get lost in my other email inbox, and I'll respond to you as quickly as possible. So if everybody's happy with the questions, please email me afterwards and request the slides and I'll send them to you. Please email me afterwards if you want to discuss where centres are of the offering, which we do support. We will support you with. We do support people with all the time, and we'll share that with you. So thank you very much indeed. Have a good day and goodbye.